Hi, my name is Casuel Casella Rosa. I'm a student of the career of computer system engineer, and I'm going to present you my advance in the project that is named a patient safety platform for the Hospital Puebla. That is a hospital here in Angelopolis. And now, it's important to say that I'm going to finish this practice in July. So for the reason it is a partial report. Now, before I start, it's important to say the backup of this project. Now, the activities that I developed, it's about to make a modification and upgrades in the system of the hospital. It is a web system that organizes all the hospital about this operations, technical documentation, and some other things like contracts, manuals, and problems with client. So, Hospital Puebla has a system that is named a safety project or safety patient project that works with virtual machines. And as an engineering system, I have the abilities to modify some files, some aspect about the system. In a specific, the database and the interface that serves to to put information or show some important information about the hospital. What is the specific objectives that I'm going to make in this hospital? First is make modification in the web service for normal operations of hospital, and the modifications are about modification or repairing SQL tables in the database, modifying interface, or add new features according the specification of the users. In this case, the user are the doctors, nurse, and the administrative personnel. Now, other important thing to say is that the main goals of this project, of this practice, is first observe how is that a real project or a real engineer system works in the live environment. Practice about how to modify some aspects of the code without affect other aspects in the system. Or when is implementation, it's important to develop solution in case that some personnel, some doctor ask me to make a specific upgrade of modification in one code. So it's important to first design and after implement this solution. And finally, evaluate about how efficient is the solution, if it has some problems about a logical or lost information, consolidation, and all the terms according to ACID terms. Now, how is that this system works? This system are divided in two parts. That is the production environment and the test environment. Both have the same code. The it code is serves with some language, in specific PHP, HTML, and SQL. Now, both systems are in virtual machines, but the difference is that the production virtual machine are in a server with a provider that is named Virtus, and the test environment is on a local machine in order to make modification. Both has the same code, the same connection, same files, all is the same. In order to, if we want to make some modification, we can first test it in the test environment, and when we are sure that this modification works correctly, we pass to the production environment in order to don't affect the use of the system, because we cannot close the production environment because it is functionally all the time because it's a hospital. Now, both has a connection with a database, a general database that works with SQL. as I said before, in a server Virtus. The production environment are designed to work with the users that can be doctors, personal helper, or administrative. And the test is only can be accessed for the technical and system personnel. In this case, me and my boss, that is the system boss, system encargate of this of all the aspect. Now, this is an example. The virtual machine work with Linux, and it has the distribution of Ubuntu. It works with, how can I say it, low aspect and have a lot of interface in order to don't affect the use of the person that doesn't know how to operate a computer or has problem. For this reason, all the interfaces are very simple and are very intuitive. Now, in order to connect this virtual machine, we use an application that is named AnyDesk that helps us to connect with the computer without the need to access a PC where all the systems are charged or the server. AnyDesk helps us to connect remotely and have all the benefits. Actually, this image are from the AnyDesk, and it's like a virtual machine, but with information in other place in order to have in my computer. Here we can see the two environments. First is the test, and the second one is the production environment. Now, how is the design, the steps that might work? Well, first is to listen the modifications that are going to be made, enter the test environment in the local machine, locate the scripts and the files that has this aspect in order to modify if this is an interface, a problem with labels, buttons, or new features. And finally, and next, identify tables and procedures in order to modify the database if it is necessary. Document each change in order to be able to record any error or future problems with other functionalities. And finally, check in the test environment if these modifications are correctly, it doesn't affect other part of the system, if they are correctly implemented. And finally, once that I made all this, my boss tell me that I can upload this modification in the production environment in order so the whole hospital can access it and modify it. Sorry. Now, what are the results? As I said before, it is a partial evaluation because my work in the hospital Puebla finished in July. So until now, I have made some modification. The first one is in the database, as you can see, there in PHP MyAdmin that serves to administrate the SQL database in Linux. The next one is the interface that I modify. Here is the main interface of the hospital. This is in the test environment because the direction of the browser are located here. And finally, we can see a table that I aggregate in order to show some manuals about medical aspects and ISO problems. Now, how is the evaluation? All the modifications that I made are like this. In a specific part of the codes, I made some alterations, add new features. So I don't need to I don't need to access all the code because the system are already implemented. So my work is only on the surface, only a little busy. But in some case like this, it can be some problems. I give you an example. One of the modifications is to pass all the dates in the table in the database to another in order to have a better organization in the manuals. So it is very important to follow the design that I mentioned before, because if I made some error, my boss or my of the other employee of systems department can check me and tell me, no, you are wrong. This is not servable. It have some problems with this data. So with this, I can implement my abilities as a engineer system engineer, and I can make a structure about all the modification and don't lose anything. As a conclusion, because it is a partial conclusion, until now I can say that I learned so much about how the system works, how it is implemented in a real world example, and how complicated it is to connect all the files about different language, different aspects. Until now, I have the count to at least I use 4 or 5 materials, sorry, classes that I see in my other course. So it is important to improve my abilities, specifically the practical activities until now, obviously. So I hope that in the future I can have more modifications, more aspects that I can implement my abilities as an engineer system. And this is all. Thanks for your attention.